For our experiment, our empirical question is that if the wallet is dropped, are men or women more likely to return it to the owner? The peer-reviewed journal titled Returning a Dropped Object, Effective Response Cost, and Number of Potential Helpers by David J. A. Edwards talks about two experiments that were conducted to study the behavior of subjects in which an object was accidentally dropped in front of them. In the first experiment, drops were made in front of 19 individuals and 13 groups of 2 or 3. The experimenter emerged from a gateway onto a path near the students' union. The experimenter was walking in front of and in the same direction as the subject. He would be timed exiting out and when he would drop the object. Drops were made in front of individuals or in front of groups of 2 or 3 persons walking together. All but 2 subjects responded by returning the object to the dropper. In the second experiment, either a box of Tampax or a purse was dropped in front of 44 subjects. 4 female students acted as experimenters and collected data independently. Overall, the box of Tampax was returned less frequently than the purse. Our hypothesis is that if a wallet is dropped, men are more likely to return the wallet to its rightful owner than women. In these next few videos, you're going to see the footage from our observations. For our experiment, we sampled 15 males and 15 females, for a total of 30 college students here on the NMSU campus. Our only materials that were used in this experiment was a small white wallet, shown here, and 2 cameras positioned at different angles recording the individual's reactions. Our experiment went as followed. Viola and Kelsey had a staged conversation and then said their goodbyes in a natural manner as they saw an individual coming up. Viola then walked from point A to point B, which was in front of Hardiman and Jacobs Undergraduate Learning Center, while wearing her headphones. As she was walking, she pulled her phone out of her back pocket, which caused the wallet to fall. She did this in front of the targeted individual, and we recorded their reactions. During the whole experiment, Viola, Kelsey, and Veronica were all on the phone together so they could keep in contact with one another and let Viola know when to drop the wallet. In a perfect world, once the wallet was dropped, every individual would see that the wallet had dropped and would return it to the rightful owner. In a not-so-perfect world, every individual would see the dropped wallet, but they would not return it. They would steal it. During our observations, the individuals that we observed seemed willing to return the dropped wallet and rushed to give it back to Viola. We didn't encounter anyone who tried to steal or walk away with the wallet, but we did receive plenty of funny looks when people happened to see us filming. If you look at the bar graph shown here, you can see that out of the 15 females observed, 10 of them returned the wallet and 5 of them ignored the wallet. This is shown by the blue bar on the graph. Out of the 15 males, 12 of them returned the wallet and only 3 of them ignored the wallet, as shown by the orange bar on the graph. In our research, we found that we had a higher rate of returns with both men and women versus ignored. Out of the 15 men tested, 12 returned the wallet and 3 ignored. Out of the 15 women, 10 returned the wallet and 3 ignored the drop. While looking at previous research, we found similarities and differences between the two in both results and methods. In the peer-reviewed journal, Returning a Dropped Object, Effect of Response and Number of Potential Helpers, the researchers dropped an item directly in front of 19 individuals, a few more than ours, but also in front of 13 groups of 2 or 3. They also had dropped 2 different items in another experiment instead of only 1. Their results were similar to ours as they had a higher rate of returns in both experiments. Similarities between our experiment methods and previous research is that they also staged the drop with similar steps. Both included a staged conversation between the 2 individuals, which led to the termination of the conversation when the subject came near. It ended in an 8-foot distance between the dropper and the individual when the drop was performed. Limitations are characteristics of the experiment that can have an impact on the findings of our research. Something that we would do differently is to have a more strict sample size. We found that a limitation of our experiment was the people who we were targeting. More specifically, at the start of our research experiment, we found that targeting groups of 2 or more was a limitation. If one person in the group saw the object fall, they were more likely to return it because others in the group saw it as well. They also had to decide who was going to pick it up and return it. By targeting individuals, it was controlled so that it was solely their decision to return their dropped item. Another limitation we found while conducting our research was the location of the drop. Being on a college campus, our sample was limited to only college students, lowering our external validity. If the drop was done in a busier environment, such as a mall or grocery store, we would have a more diverse sample size. Third, a limitation that impacted or influenced our experiment was the timing and placement of the drop. If the drop happened too far away from the individual being tested, we found that they may have not witnessed the drop, therefore did not return it to the owner. By closing the distance between the dropper and the participant, we could accumulate more data relating to our research question. Last, we found that the dropper can be considered a limitation. By us choosing a female to perform the experiment, it could cause a likely response from both women and men to return the wallet to her. How she was dressed could also influence the findings of the research. In conclusion, we found that men at New Mexico State University were more likely to return a dropped wallet than women were. This data supports our hypothesis and answered our empirical question.